is a windfall tax by any other name, isn't it? Your side of the political debate should be quite pleased about this announcement.
Yes, Labour will claim it as a victory, even though it's much delayed. And look, try not to be party political about everything, because viewers might get fed up of partisanship. But to be frank, this is a capitulation on the part of the government. It's 6 months too late, and it's a capitulation designed to cover up the shame of Partygate, the vomiting, the fighting, the karaoke, and the smashing of a child's swing in the hours and days before the Duke of Edinburgh's funeral. So, belatedly, the Tory government has seen some sense, but as Rachel Reeves said in your clip earlier, what about the people that have racked up bills over the winter just gone?
Yeah, I mean, it is the case, isn't it, Belinda, that this will be music to a lot of people's ears. But is it right that this is going to apply universally? I mean, that means people with billions in the bank are going to get money off their fuel bills, and perhaps we should be asking them to help those at the very bottom.
Well, I have concerns about means testing just because of the delay. I mean, we can't even get passports issued or driving licence issues at the moment without months and months of backlog. So if people want money in their pocket now, I think means testing has to go a bit out of the window for now. The form filling and then the time it takes to means test people, it's just not what people want at the moment. Also, I think people who do have money, pensioners who have money, have paid into the system for decades, and they're often the most charitable, generous people anyway, giving money every year to charity. I think it's right to do it universally and not means test.
Peter, do you think it's right to do it universally?
I think in this case it is, yeah. One has to bear in mind that the means testing can be slow, and rightly or wrongly, this is going to be a one-off measure. We have means testing for other things. So, for example, you start to lose your child benefits, you go up the income tax rates, but that's permanent part of the tax mechanism. Here we're talking about one-off in response to two things, not just unprecedented cost of living crisis and inflation, but also the unprecedented profits of firms like BP, who, by the way, are quite comfortable with this type of levy. So I think a means test would just be too slow and too complex. And obviously, the Labour Party in Parliament would be very unlikely to demand that, because Labour has generally been an advocate for universal benefits, such as the NHS being the biggest one.
And Belinda, finally, I mean, it does seem to me like capitulation to Labour. It does seem like it's very well timed to distract from Partygate, but does that matter?
Well, I don't think a lot of people in the country will mind that it's a bit about optics at the moment and good headlines. I think a lot of people are done with Partygate, and they want money in their pockets, and they want money in their pockets as soon as possible, and security leading up to winter. People are terrified of what's happening, as the weather drops and people are isolated on their own in the cold again. So I actually think people are ready to move on, and whether it's for theatre, optics, it's done now. I'm ready to move over off from Partygate, and I think a lot of people are as well.
Linda, thank you. Now I want to know... Oh, Peter, yeah, come back. Say again.
It's not over for Boris Johnson. Partygate's going to cause him a lot more pain. Let's see if we get that recall petition. Let's see what the Commons committees say about truthfulness. I'm afraid it's not over for Boris yet.